Excellent. I hope you can see the slides. I'm going to take maybe 5 or 10 minutes, and if you have questions, feel free to ask. Yeah, feel free to interrupt me, or you can ask questions after my presentation. Yeah, let's get started. So this year, Yango and Zinde have partnered up to organize a hackathon, and it's going to be in about 10 days. I'm once again very excited about it. I think it's a great opportunity for all of us to work with real life data, learn some real life data science skills. And I'm grateful for Zinde for organizing that. I am myself a data scientist at Yango. I'm also an engineer and a project manager. I do a lot of different things. I don't know if you all have used Yango or know about us. I'm going to share a little bit about who we are and what we do and why we are organizing this event. Yango is an international company. We do a lot of different services and a lot of different things all over the world, in Africa, in Latin America, in the Middle East. We are very happy to be in Zambia. We operate in a few cities. So what we do is deliveries, personal or for business purposes. We do ride hailing, and we do restaurant food delivery. Yango is a very technology focused company. It's founded by engineers, and it's built by engineers. So we hire a lot of talented people and develop technologies. Also, a lot of our work is based on data science and artificial intelligence. A lot of product features are based on artificial intelligence and algorithms. For example, the way we predict how long a ride is going to take, or different recommendation algorithms in our restaurant section. It's all based on cutting edge technology. And yeah, this is an important part of what we do, data science. It really helps us make our products better. It really helps us provide better services for people. I think it's an exciting career. I am enjoying what I'm doing a lot. And I assume a lot of you are either already doing some data science or are interested in getting into this profession. And I think it's a great profession with a lot of bright future. Yeah, let's talk about the upcoming hackathon. First of all, I want to say thank you to Zinde. Once again, I think it's a great platform. Honestly, one of my favorite projects and platforms. Especially, I love the challenges. It's one of the best ways to learn. It's one of the best ways to gain skills in data science and data analytics and artificial intelligence. And the best part about all of this is that you are solving real life problems. And that's how I got into the profession. I've started solving different problems and different challenges, and it really helped me understand how data science works and get some useful real life experience. So this is the second year Zinde and Yango are organizing hackathons. Last year, we've partnered up and organized an event, and it was a very successful event. Really good reviews from the participants, and we decided to do it again this year. Last year, the hackathon, the event was based on the data that Yango has collected and provided. The challenge was to analyze and predict traffic speeds in Lusaka. This is an important challenge to understand how fast and predict how fast cars are moving on the streets. It helps people, like, the better you understand the traffic jams and the conditions on the streets, the better decisions you can make on which street to take, or whether you should travel now or travel later, or maybe whether you should travel by car or travel by feet. Yeah, and so we've last year gathered data and prepared and asked the participants to predict the speeds. This year we've come up with a different challenge, and I think it's even more exciting than last year. This year we are asking you, the participants of the hackathon, to predict taxi ride times. For example, a customer wants to get, let's say, from the airport to the University of Lusaka, and when you order a taxi ride, you want to know how long it's going to take you. And if the prediction is correct, you're going to be satisfied. If the prediction isn't correct, for example, the app says it's going to take 20 minutes to get to the university, and in reality it takes 1 hour, it might ruin your plans and maybe even your day. So the better we are able to predict how long it's going to take for a specific ride, the better it is for everyone. And it's a difficult challenge because a lot of different factors affect how long it might take to get from your origin to your destination. And such factors obviously include, for example, the time of the day you're traveling. Maybe if you're traveling at night, there's going to be less congestion and you're going to get to your destination faster. If you're traveling during rush hour, it might take you much longer. The day of the week affects the time it takes, maybe the season, and a lot of other factors. And that's going to be your job to find these factors and features that affect the time it takes to get to your destination. And also this year, we've added another data set to the challenge. And I think that's a very exciting data set that's going to make your work, first of all, more, it's going to make your predictions more accurate. And I think it's going to make your work more exciting. It's a data set on weather. So we've collected data, weather data from our partners, and presented you a data set on weather and precipitation in Lusaka. And this is something that you should definitely look into and take into account when predicting ride times. So the data is going to be on the platform. It's not there yet. The challenge is on the platform, so you can go and take a look and sign up. You can also go and check out last year's challenge, see see the description, and just learn about this challenge and different challenges. Yeah, and the data for this year is going to be uploaded later, I think on the day of the hackathon. Yeah, I hope you're going to enjoy the challenge. I think it's fun. There are different solutions to this challenge. There are easier solutions and there are more sophisticated solutions, and you can try different ones based maybe on your skills or your interests. And I would love to share some of my personal advice on how to be successful at a hackathon. I myself have participated at different hackathons when I was a student and then also as a professional. And I think it's a great experience to learn new skills, to get to know how to solve problems, and also maybe meet new people, and also their prizes. So some advice from me is before the hackathon itself, prepare like you are doing today, attend different workshops, learn more about the platform, learn more about the challenge, learn more about tools that are useful for solving data science problems. That's step number one. Step number two is practice solving other hackathon challenges. So once again, go to Zindi and check out different challenges, take a look at different solutions, and yeah, that's going to prepare you for the upcoming challenge. And then on the day of the hackathon, you're gonna have 8 hours to solve the challenge, and that's not a lot of time. And for this challenge and for any other challenge, once you get the problem description and the data description, it's really important to spend some time understanding what's been asked and how to approach the challenge. And also because this is a data-based challenge, definitely spend some time doing initial analysis of the data, like what do the different fields in the data set mean, where did the data set come from, what do different rows in the data set mean. So this is really important. And then during the hackathon, teamwork. I think most of you are going to be working in teams, and I think teamwork is even more important as a skill than any other technical skill. How you get along with your teammates and how you split the task between different people in your team. Keep track of time. There's never enough time, and it always runs out faster than you expect. So make sure to keep track and make sure to make your final submission before the final deadline. And the last but not least, make sure to have fun, because it's not worth it if you're not having fun. The results are important, but the process is even more important. And the more fun you are having, the more you're going to learn. And I think this is the most important. This is it from me. Good luck. If you have any questions about Yango or about my career as a data scientist or about upcoming hackathon, feel free to ask now or shoot me an email. My email is there on the slide. Yeah, and I'm very excited for the hackathon. Thank you.
Thank you, Tim.
Thank you so much, Tim. Is there anyone with a question based on the presentation, his journey, maybe as a data scientist, maybe some tips in terms of the hackathon, okay, the challenge? I know he has given us some tips on, how to get started or just to prepare for the challenge, but maybe any technical questions you might have. So David is asking, could you give us a hint on how many features could be in the data set?
Let's say dozens. Yeah, but once you see the data on the day of the hackathon, yeah, you're gonna get the exact number.
Okay.
And yeah, the solution could use like as many features as you think is needed. Someone's asking about auto email. I'm not sure. Yeah.
Let me just unmute. Mute. Okay, sorry. Yeah.
Yeah, someone is asking about auto machine learning in the chat, whether it's allowed or not. I'm actually not sure. It depends on the rules. I don't know, Rose, maybe you have more insight into that. Yeah, maybe there's no answer yet, but it's a good question.
I was muted. Yeah, I think on the challenge, we'll have the rules noted down on what is agreed upon. So maybe even as we work, maybe Yasin will be walking us through the challenge. He can show us where we are going to find the rules of the hackathon, so that this might guide us on what is required and not, and what might lead to the disqualification of what you'll be using. So just maybe have a look into that on the challenge, and it will guide you best. Yes.
Is there a specific programming language? No, you can use whatever language you prefer. I think, once again, maybe someone from the Zinda side can confirm.
I believe either will be able to review.
I'm curious, I don't know what kind of languages you know or are planning to using. Maybe write in the comments. I'm excited to learn about your tools and approaches.
So I'll just read them quickly for you. I know they're coming real fast. Will
I'm
the
excited
data
about the questions. Thank you.
will the data be separate train data and test data, or do you have one data set with you split?
Mhm.
I think, yeah, they're asking if it would be separate or combined.
Yeah.
Which I believe, just like I think maybe Tim, you want to
Yeah, sure,
mention
definitely.
that?
Yeah, you're going to be presented with a data set that you can split yourself the way you want into testing and validation and whatever else. And your solution is going to be tested on a data set that you are not presented with. So that's like the real test part of the data set is going to be not presented to you, but the platform is going to be using it to analyze the solutions.
Yes. Thank you for that response. It's very accurate. Some of it will be put on the private side so that we can use it to rank the last scores. Are we placed in groups? Yeah, you can make your own groups. Thank you, Mulenga. And is there any need to use a specific SQL?
Microsoft Access, I think. No, you don't like, there is no requirement to use any specific tool or a database. The data is going to be presented, I think, as a CSV file. So you can download it and then upload it wherever you want into the database, or use Python or anything else. I see someone has mentioned Python as their tool of preference. Yeah, that's a good tool, but you can, once again, use whatever you're comfortable with. Someone is using Java. Excellent. Wow.
Yeah. Please highlight on training time and computational power. Will this competition need that assistance, or do you maybe have alternatives that they can use in case it's a challenge?
So data set is not that big. I think most personal laptops should be able to handle it. If you want to use any cloud software to run your algorithms there, I think that's also okay, but that's definitely not necessary.
Okay, so most of the platform questions I see for can you do it alone or how to form a team, etc. Yasin will take us through that. So we are going to have that answered in a few. So we'll take like 3 more questions, and in case of any other pending question, I think Yasin will be able to take it up in case it's not as technical for this for Yango. So I'm just trying to identify which ones that Yasin can answer and give our team maybe 2 questions. So will the system rank your result in real time? So this one will leave it for Yasin. So stay tuned and Yasin will walk us through that. Yeah, so I think Tim also mentioned about the variables. He said there will be like a dozen or more. And I think the most important variables to work on should be also part of the challenge for you to
it's definitely part of
them.
the challenge. It's part of your job as a data scientist to identify what's important and what's not. But that's like, it's not the secret. We've provided a weather data set for you, and that's definitely a feature that we think is important, and definitely make sure to use that in your predictions as well.
Awesome. And I think we have this final question where Joshua is saying he has a degree in IT and passionate about transitioning into data science. Maybe he wants some advice on the best resources for learning.
Yeah, excellent question. I was in a similar path as you. I was a software developer, and then I transferred into data science and data analytics. There are a lot of excellent resources. I personally love Coursera, the platform. They have a lot of free and really high quality courses on data science. So definitely take a look there. And I think Zinde is another excellent resource for finding and learning about real life challenges.
Yes. Thank you, Tim, for that shout out. We actually have the land page, which we are collaborating with Microsoft at the moment. So you have courses on data analytics, data science. You can just go and have a look. It's a good place to get started. Yeah, and I think the last question, Yasin would be able to handle it because it's everything around the platform. But I would want Tim to give you the final remarks and then we can jump into Yasin's session. But thank you so much, Tim, for that amazing information you have shared. And I know all of us are excited to be hands-on in this competition. It's like a feel home type of hackathon. So I think most of the participants are excited.
Yeah, excellent. I'm excited, and yeah, good luck to everyone, and have fun.
Great. Thank you so much, Tim. So without further ado, thanks, Tim. I would like to invite Yasin Ayami, our Zindi ambassador from Zambia, and he's going to take us through the platform. So questions on how to form a team, how to participate as an individual, submissions, etc. He'll be able to tackle that and just guide us through how that would look like. So Yasin, feel free to come up and introduce yourself and get us started.
Okay, thanks very much, Rose. I don't know if I'm audible enough.
Yes.
Okay, great. My connection is super bad because of the current crisis we're in, so I might be logging in, out and in. Okay, so you'll forgive me for that. Okay, great. So my name is Yasin Usayami, Zindi ambassador for Zambia. I also represent the Ubuntu AI community. So most of the questions that most of the participants have been asking are things that as Ubuntu AI community are kind of addressing, where we're trying to democratize AI here in Zambia. So we've basically created a platform where people that are passionate about data science, are enthusiasts, want to learn more about data science, basically can collaborate, can network with like-minded individuals so that then they can boost their skills. So the structure of my presentation will be as follows. I don't have slides. Rose, are you able to allow me to share?
Yes. Let me add your
Okay, great. So the structure of my presentation will be as follows. So I'll just basically walk everybody through the Zindi platform. So once we are done, then I'll loop in Lighton, who is a member of the Ubuntu AI community, to just basically share tips. Lighton has got vast experience competing on Zindi. So he'll just basically share some of the tips that he's gathered, or some of recommendations he's gathered over time on how he goes about, solving challenges here on Zindi. But he'll just walk us through last year's competition. So Tim made reference of the competition that was held last year. So we've got one of the winning solutions. So one of the top three guys, I think he was the second. He was kind enough to share his solution. So we've got his solution on GitHub. So we might just share the GitHub repo with everybody, then you can just clone it, and then it will give you an idea of how to go about solving a challenge on Zindi. But then there was mention of the competition being opened up at some point. So it might be opened up so that then you can compete on the actual platform, the Zindi platform, and then you'll see the leaderboard. There were questions around are the scores going to be computed instantly? Yes. So when you compete or you make submissions on the actual Zindi platform, you'll get to see the actual scoring, and then you'll see who your competitors are, and obviously who work towards outdoing them. Okay, so without further ado, I'll walk everybody through the platform, and then at some point, Lighton will come in to finish up with the rest. So some of you might have already registered on Zindi, but if you haven't, it's a must, you have to, otherwise you cannot compete. So you first have to navigate to the Zindi.Africa page until you see a page like this one. Then you click on the sign in page or sign in button, and then you'll have options to sign up here. So you'll basically put your preferred username, first name, last name, your gender, country, and all this information. It's important here you put Zambia, and you put, yeah, it's important that you put Zambia so that then there are no surprises, especially considering this competition is just for Zambians. And then you will put your password, and that should be it. So I won't sign up myself because I'm already registered. What is my password? Oh, I've forgotten my Zindi South Africa. I normally just log on to the platform. So I had to log out because then of okay. Good. So I'm logged in. So once you log in, your you you should have this welcome page. I can see my face there just to show that I'm logged in. So Zindi has got quite a number of resources again that would help you learn, especially if you're a beginner. So you've got these resources, so training for beginners, training for data analysis, and all these things here. You can filter here by skills. So obviously, when you come, most likely you're a beginner, so you start with the beginner. Once you feel they're no longer challenging, then you can go to the intermediate, then you go to the advanced. You can see what other data scientists from across the continent have been discussing and talking about. You can also find jobs here. There's quite a number of jobs that are also posted, but then our interest at the moment is on the compete. So we've got about two types of challenges. So there's the actual competition where you compete for the actual prize money. So like these ones. And then there are other competitions where you just want to practice. So you're not basically competing for money, but then you just want to practice. So these are practice challenges. So I'll go to practice challenges. So we've got quite a number of these. So they are called knowledge challenges. So for those that have been or have done some AI, machine learning and stuff like that, so we know that machine learning is classified into different types. So you've got different problems that you can basically solve. So you've got your classification problems, you've got regression problems, but also the domains that you are in. So it could be somebody that is interested in agriculture, somebody that's interested in tourism, somebody that's interested in finance and stuff like that. So there's quite a number of such here. So there's variety that you can pick from. So depending on what your interest is. So in this case, for example, I'll pick this spot a mass. So this obviously is good for beginners. It's a classification problem. So it's a classification problem. So we have to predict whether this is wrong or right, yes or no, something like that. Then it's a computer vision problem because then we've got pictures of people either wearing or not wearing masks. So we want to check if this person is wearing a mask or not. Then obviously it's in the health thematic area, safety. So we can see how many active participants are there and then how many people enrolled. So you can be enrolled in a competition when you enroll in a competition, but then once you just make a submission, that's when you are considered to be an active participant. So there's some information here about the competition. So again, when we're solving competitions, obviously it's good we have some sort of like background so that then we understand what the context of the competition is, and if it means also trying to summon other resources, this information would help you to do such. Then there's an aspect of evaluation. So evaluation is basically how your model is going to be evaluated. So you will be submitting something like this, for example. So the ID and the actual classification. Then there's the prizes, timeline, and then the tutorials around this competition. So we've got some ambassadors from different countries that have done some amazing work around helping each one of us to get started with the Zindi platform. So there's this video, for example, how to enroll a first Zindi competition, how to create a team on Zindi, and so on and so forth. So there is all these resources. So when we are competing, you just make sure that you read through the rules, including how you go about forming a team and collaborating. Okay. So this is the information you can peruse through and read through this. Then there's the aspect of data. So like Tim had mentioned, you'll be provided with CSV files. So normally there's a trend CSV file, and then there's a submission CSV file. So there's this trend, and then there's a submission CSV file. So the train is what you're basically going to use to train your model. So for those that have done some data science before, you'll obviously know that we'll have to train a model and then check the performance of a model. So you'll get the CSSV and then classify it in two. So the first part will be the training, and then the other will be the training. So based on the training, you'll then be improving your model. So until it reaches a point where you feel you are confident and happy with the model, then you can now use the actual test set that will be provided by the competition, and then you can make your submission. So you'll be provided these CSV files. So depending on the competition that you're solving, so in this case, this was a classification problem. So we're dealing with images. So what was provided was images. But in the competition that we will be solving, it won't be a classification problem. I'm not sure whether it's a regression or classification problem, but what I know is you'll be provided with a CSV file. So you'll see when Lightroom presents, where you'll just basically, so it will be an Excel with rows and columns. And then it will have your Y value, which will be what you'll be predicting. And then there's what we call the leaderboard. So when you make a submission, you'll see other competitors and what their score is. So these are people that are actively participating in this competition. So once your model performs better, then obviously it will have some ranking around the top whatever. So this will be the goal, to come out to be in the top 3. So you can make as many submissions as possible, but I think there's a limit as to how many submissions you can make in an hour or so. I wish Cleo was what's her name again? What's her name again, Rose?
Sorry, Amy?
Amy, yeah. She was here to give us a threshold as to how many submissions that can be made in an hour. I think there's some sort of a limit as to how many submissions. So once you exceed that, then you'll have to wait for some time and then you can next. But then you are allowed to make as many submissions as you can. So this obviously is in real time, but it has to conform to what the guide here is, which is the submission. So here they give you an example of how the submission should look like. So without further ado, I'll now call upon Lighton. So Lighton will just give us a hands-on experience. So I was just talking about this from a high level. So Lighton will come up and talk about it in specifics, making reference to the previous competition. And then after that, we'll be happy to take a question. Over to you, Lighton. Should I project for you the slides?
No, not a problem. I think I can manage.
All right.
Yes.
Okay. Rose, just make Lighton a co-host.
Yes, he should be fine.
Sure. So I assume, by the way, Yasin was able to get me that time audible enough. Okay, so, okay, just okay. Are you able to see my screen? Or is everyone able to see my screen? Okay, yes. Okay, so this is simply just a quick presentation on preparing for a competition, Yango Mobility Hackathon by Lighton Kalumba. So my name is, just a short introduction, my name is Lighton Kalumba. As Yasin said, I've been taking part in some Zindi hackathons and things like that. I've also won some hackathons on Zindi. So I'm just going to walk through just a very quick walkthrough on on just some tips on how to prepare for a competition. And then lastly, we're going to go through a winning solution of last year's hackathon, which was on Zindi and was for Yango. So let me create the slide. Okay, so the contents of my presentation. Number 1, I'm going to talk about searching for mobility datasets. Number 2, learn and practice with models. Number 3, we'll focus on last year's Yango Zindi hackathon. And then number 4, creating final touches. Number 5, final touches now submitting on Zindi. So let's get started. This is going to be a really fun thing. I'm going to be sharing tips that that will really help if you can just grasp them fast and everything. So number 1, as I said, search for datasets. So you can explore mobility related datasets on Cargo as well as Zindi. So a quick way to do that is I want this to be more of like action-based presentation. So I'll be presenting as well as showing how to go through some certain things. So let's say you searched for, this is Cargo, you can search Google, anything, you just search for mobility hackathons, just things to deal with hackathons. But in this case, here for now, I'll use Cargo. So let's say you used Cargo, you search traffic, which is a keyword for mobility. So let's say you search traffic and you come here, you're going to have this part written code here, to which you can look at other people's code on how they manage to handle traffic prediction. data set with columns like this, which is more of like going to open you, especially if you are a beginner, you'll be able to, let me just try to open one of them. You'll be able to see how to go about things step by step and things like that. For example, importing libraries and things like that. So as you can see here, some libraries are being imported and things like that. And then number two, perform exploratory data analysis on the data sets that you have found after you explore mobility related data sets on Cargo as well as Google. For now, I won't get to Zindi, but when I get to Zindi, that's where the fun starts. So, and then step two will be now learn and practice with models. So as I said, as you search for traffic, as you search for mobility notebooks on platforms like Cargo, and I think you can also find GitHub repositories of people solving like mobility problems using notebooks. You can come here, look at the code, see how they're pre-processing the code, doing the feature engineering of the code, and basically stuff like that. So I'm going to just go quick to the model. So you see he's there creating models and fitting the models. Yeah, so you can experiment with feature engineering just like I showed there, and then you evaluate models using cross validation. And then step three, this is now when we get to the Zindi part. I didn't really want to take long on Cargo, and so, yeah, so focus on last year's Zindi hackathon if you are planning to prepare for this hackathon. And one thing that I can assure you is that if you can, like, I know we're left with 10 days till the hackathon starts. So if you can focus on last year's Zindi hackathon, and something interesting that I found is that so once we go to the Zindi, once you go to your Zindi page, you can click compete, and then just to not waste much of your time, you can go to page 9. So once you go to page 9, what you're going to find past Yango mobility hackathons, which you can practice on. So you find the Kinshasa mobility prediction hackathon powered by Yango. This is last year's hackathon. Luanda Mobility Prediction Hackathon powered by Yango, which is also last year's hackathon. And then also Maputo Mobility Prediction Hackathon powered by Yango, which is last year's hackathon as well. But in this case, we are going to focus on Lusaka Mobility Prediction Hackathon powered by Yango. So this is last year's hackathon. So what you can do is you can click here, and once you've clicked, you can now start to explore. Yasin had mentioned there are many things here about the description, the rules and prices. But now let's say I'm assuming you've already know that, and now you want to now test yourself with the data sets and everything. We come direct on data. So now once we are on data, we're going to find these past data sets, which can be a good way to work on, because now instead of working with things which are out of the place and you're not sure, this time now you're sure because you're working with the exact type of data sets that might be used in the competition, maybe like the structure and things like that. So we have the trend CSV, and we also have we should also have the test CSV, as well as graph variable definition CSV, and sample submission CSV, as well as the graph CSV. And then we also have a sample submission CSV. This is just what it more of like shows us how the sample of submission should look like. So most of them have a Yango starter notebook, where since this is a hackathon and you're given a limited amount of time, most of the time, a Yango starter notebook, this will just help you have a walkthrough over the data to see things like missing values. Sometimes they might be EDA. So this was last year's Yango starter notebook. So as you can see, they imported the libraries here, which were supposed to be used, and they added a seed for reproducibility. as well as they assign these to the train CSV. We talked about it earlier, the test CSV, sample submission, as well as the graph CSV. So just a quick walkthrough. As I said, they might be a starter notebook, which will more of like will give you some clues and tips about the data you are working on. Since this is, you're given a limited amount of time, and sometimes you might not have time to walk through the data and everything. So here you can see statistical summaries, creating statistical summaries of the data. And as I said, sometimes they might be EDA. So you find the EDA here, target variable distribution. So now you're able to see the target variable distribution. You're able to see the box plot showing speed averages of outliers and things like that. Because just as I said, you're given a limited amount of time, and sometimes you might not have enough time to like start creating findings using the EDA. So just a small presentation. This was the train CSV for last year, and I heard one of people saying that there are a lot of variables, and you can see these are a lot of variables, but you have to come up with a way to figure them out. As you can see, there are also a lot of missing values, which is more something that you really which is really going to be paid in the head and stuff like that. So there are percentage of missing values. As you can see, we just looked at this train CSV file, and you saw the amount of missing values in the data set. And then it will go there, and then you also might find this part written modeling. And if you are lucky, you might actually just work with this part only. Well, I know one of the winners last year used a cat boost model, here, and ended up winning the solution without having to go through a lot of things. So now quickly, so I've talked about yeah, so quickly, now I'm going to just run through one of the winning solutions also, just very quick. One of the winning solutions for last year, which won the hackathon by Sitwala. So this was Sitwala's notebook, and this is this was Sitwala's approach to winning the hackathon. Also, I'm going to just run through this very fast. So Sitwala used light GBM models from a 5-cross validation. So according to him, he finds tree boosting algorithms, generally, he finds that they work well for tabular data. So when you look at this, maybe as you might be trying out the other data sets, you might also maybe find light GBM as a good way for tabular data. And then the second, the first thing he did is imported the libraries the necessary libraries which he was going to use for the hackathon, which NumPy, Pandas, and many like. Yasin will share the repository to this notebook, and you'll be able to go through it and search some keywords and things like that on parts where you are not sure. Because of time, I'm going to run through this very fast. And then he installed the Optuna as well as SweetVits. These are more of which help for data exploration. We are going to get there just very soon. The third thing he did is now he initialized the train CSV, the one which I just showed you, as well as test, and the sample submission file, as well as also the graph CSV. So this here is simply just the first 5 column values of the head data set. And then from here, he created a function to look up from the graph .csv. So this is generally the function here. And then moving on to there, again, this is now the train, or I mean, this is the first 5 values, first 5 columns in the train data set. And then as I talked about, SweetViz is more of it helps us to more of like analyze data and things like that. So according to him, he finds it more suitable to analyze data quickly. So using SweetViz, he was able to create this here. Let me just try to make my screen. Yeah. So using SweetViz, it's able to analyze the data here, look at the marks, the average, the median, and things. Yeah. So he's able to do that using. He was able to do that using SweetViz. And then some quick observations that he made on the EDA. He had listed them here because of time, and the repo will be shared. You're going to check them out. And then he put now the seed for reproducibility as I showed in the starter notebook. So now this is where the LGBM baseline now starts. So started with pre-processing. He created a function that picks all our categorical features that we are going to need for the light GBM models. So as you can see, this is a function. And then now Yasin talked about X values as well as Y values in the data set. So as you can see, as for him, he first got the features and the target. So X, okay, this will be a bit really technical to explain. So he said get features and target variables. So he said X is equals to train.drop ID, persistent ID, as well as target. So just to show you quickly what he meant. What he meant is that he dropped this column, the ID, because he didn't really find use in it, as well as he dropped the target, because when you're training the model, you don't really have to add the target. The target is mainly the Y value, because this is the part that we are looking for. So now here was now after he dropped the ID, and after he dropped the ID, we can see we don't have ID here, as well as we also don't have target here. So just this is really a quick presentation. So, and then now what he did was split the data set into training set as well as the test set. So as you can see there, he made the test size to 0.1 and the random state of the data set to 0. And then he said, now let's define a function that trains and returns the model that will be used for cross validation. So this was the function that he had created here. And then when we move here now, he said we start with default parameters and just define the objective metric. So as you can see, we have the parameters parameter there, the metrics, as well as the RMSE, which can be good to help us to find how well our model is performing. So as we can see here now, what he did now was he used the light GBM, folding the data into five different parts. So this, because of time, you'll be able to more of like search out what each part means here, but the main basis of this is more of splitting the data into 5 parts, so that we'd be able to get into through different parts of the data set to creating one solution, which was the RMSE. So when we move here, you can see it's being trained over and over, and then it creates an RMSE of 1.6. Yeah. And then, so he comes here and says we have a cross validation score of 1.53, which is, I'm sure should be this one. When we use the mean fault prediction, which is really good, let's see if we can improve this. So now he continues to improve these values. So now check for feature importance using sharp values. So he installed sharp there, and then now created the visualization using the column speed, which it also had a lot of variables, so as you can see. So, and then there imported NumPy again, and then did some feature importance, try to find the best features in the data set. So here, this is a visualization on feature importance. And then, okay, then we're here. Then now he said we try to remove some features with less importance. So you can see he's assigned this to filtered features, removing the features with less importance. As you can see, there's more of this grand symbol, and then it says 0.2, removing the ones with as much importance, and then comes here now to more check the parameters and print out the RMSE score as well. And then it gave out here 1.65. And then the comment was, experimenting with removing features didn't seem to change much, which he found strange. And then now we move on here to high parameter optimization with Optuna. So as you can see, these are the parameters here, and this is RMSE. We are returning the RMSE. So Optuna visualization, I think this part hasn't run through. It was supposed to be visualized so far. Yeah, so model 5-fold with the best parameters. So as I said, he more of like split the model into five forms. So when you come here to best model parameters, and this was a winning solution. And as you can see, he really manipulated the starter notebook to just creating something which is more different to the starter notebook, which is very interesting and used to create better findings. So as we can see here, he used these parameters. He used these parameters. We can say we can see the feature fraction here. So what the feature fraction just simply does is it chooses 23. He used the value 23.9. So in this case, it's just choosing 23.9 features for iteration. Here we have the learning rate, the objective space. This one specifies to regression, the estimators, the number of trees that will be used in this. And then I think the report will be sent, and because of time, you'll be able to explore more how he managed to go through this part. So as you can see, since as well as parameters, this part really was more of like iterating over and over again, and you'll be able to tell from the output here.
Right, Lighton?
Okay.
Yes.
Lighton? Yeah,
Hello?
I think yeah, I think what you're just basically doing now is just more of improving the model. So I think he's tried to you've tried to
yes.
explain kind of like the end-to-end process. What you're just basically kind of
Yes.
showing right now is just strategies of how to improve the model. So sorry for cutting you short. I think you're very passionate about this and you'd have loved to explain more. But then in the interest of time, we're ideally supposed to end by 7 o'clock, but then I think we're past that. So maybe there will just be an allowance of like maybe 10, 15 minutes where we can respond to questions that might have arisen from the presentations that we've made. Suffice to say that we've created a group which is on WhatsApp where we'll be sharing some of these resources. We'll share the Git report to this by Sitwala. Then there's normally a boilerplate that comes with the competition or the starter notebook, which you can make use of. So, quote in quote, the competition is more biased towards the use of Python tools. So there's that you can make use of. And in my thinking, depending on the responses we get, we might maybe organize another session like this one, just to also more of a technical one, just again to prepare our participants to organize, to participate in it, because we want as many participants take part as possible. And again, that's the importance of belonging to some sort of like a community, because they always motivate you towards, achieving much. So at this point in time, I'll hand it over to Rose, so that then she can moderate the Q&A session, and we'll be happy to respond to questions. Over.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I was already involved in the in the presentations, but thank you so much, Lighton, for that amazing walkthrough. And I hope you guys will also join the WhatsApp so that you can unifiably work in this competition together and get support. So do we have any questions on the chat? So we learn Python in 10 days. Okay. All the best. We are here to support you in that. Yes, the competition is for Zambians. Yes, the recording will be made available, and also Yasin will have it in his YouTube, which he'll share, I guess, also on the WhatsApp, so that you can be able to view it. Yeah, later on, people are scared. Yes, you have a question?
Hi, Natasha. How are you?
I'm good, and how are you?
All right.
Done.
Okay.
What?
Hello, are you speaking to us?
Is the meeting done?
No, it's boring.
Okay. So sorry about that. Is there anyone with a question maybe that we have missed that hasn't been answered on the chat? I hope we are all comfortable with submissions, how to submit, and also how to form teams also. But there are recordings where Yasin had showed us. You can go and you'll get those also answered. So I don't know, Lighton or Yasin, would you be able to answer, please clarify on AutoML and manual ML?
I see Timothy's here. I don't know if he wants to take that up. If not, I can take it up. Do you want to respond to this, Timothy?
Yeah, I'm still here. I just looked at the challenges rules, and I think the answer is no. Automated machine learning is not allowed. That's my
Okay,
understanding.
great. Okay, sure. Yeah. So whatever solution that you come up with, it will undergo some sort of validation. So you might win, but then if it fails the validation, then obviously that winning might then be revoked and then given to somebody else. So you just want to make use of actual tools that can make it easy for us to verify your solution, so that then we are happy with what you've.
Sorry, if this was for me, I think I missed the question. Yasin.
Is Yasin here? Think you're on mute.
Yes. Oh, I was speaking to myself. Yeah, so there's this question on if based in Zambia, but not in Zambia. So I think the rules are that you should be able to provide some sort of like proof of residence that you are Zambian. So if you're able to provide that you're based in Zambia, and you're not just a tourist or visitor, then I don't know. I think that should qualify you, unless colleagues from Yango and Zindi want to step in. Then there's this AutoML question that keeps popping up. So what we're basically looking for is, so we've seen how Lighton was presenting a Situala solution. So that's what we are looking at, a situation where once you win, you're able to demonstrate that this is how I went about solving this problem. So we're living in a world where there's quite a number of automated tools and stuff like that that can be made use of, to give you added advantage. So that is strongly discouraged. We want a situation where you are able to prove beyond reasonable doubt that you worked on this and those are your results, because there's aspect of reproducibility. So whatever results you get, are you able to reproduce them? So the recommended software, so I spoke to this, I say, so there's normally a starter notebook that is provided, which is in, so there's a bias towards Python. So that starter notebook basically imports all the libraries, the data and stuff like that. So for you, it's just to now begin improving the model. So step one, which is basically creating, so setting up your baseline. The starter notebook does that for you. It sets up the baseline. So for you now is now to improve. Then, so I normally like saying this. Somebody was asking whether Lighton is going to compete. Yes, he's going to compete, and I like saying his age. I hope he doesn't feel bad, because I mean he's been uh, uh, a great inspiration to many. He's just 17, 18 years old, so he's very young, and yeah, he's got great passion for this stuff. Just last month, he was in Senegal representing the Ubuntu AI community at the Deep Learning in Dava. So that's how passionate he is. So if Lightweight is able to do with just 17, 18 years, everybody should be able to do it. So for those that joined late, so we've got a WhatsApp group that we've created. So feel free to join the WhatsApp group. We'll be able to share the, so we have a YouTube channel. We'll upload the video, the recording, and then we'll share the video there. We'll also share Sitwala's winning solution, and then links to Zindi, so that then you can all set up your registration. And then depending on, we'll do some sort of like needs assessment. I think Lightweight will be happy to be allocated some maybe 2 hours again, so that then he can do the actual demonstration where, for example, we pick on a solution on Zindi, we load the files and then begin coming up like training a model to such a point where we make a submission. So we should be able to facilitate for such, so that then nobody is left behind, because we believe that if we empower everybody on this group, we had about 50 people that had joined. It means we'll be creating, we'll be producing 50 more data scientists that will be able to solve Zambia's challenges. That's what we are aiming towards. I don't see any questions. Feel free to ask any questions. We plan on ending this call at exactly 19:20. So we've got like 4 minutes for any clarifications if you need any. I see Anastasia is still on the call. I don't know, Anastasia, do you want to say a word or two?
I
Based on
just
our
wanted to
presentation.
wish you great luck on the hackathon. Just have fun. I think you'll learn a lot. So we're looking forward to seeing you there.
Awesome. That's amazing. Thank you so much, Yasin. Any questions before we wrap up? Otherwise, thank you everyone for participating in this workshop. I know you have learned a thing or two about Zindi, and if you haven't signed up for the challenge already, please go and do so. Go and enroll, and also join the WhatsApp group. It's going to be very beneficial to you. So thank you so much, Yasin, Lighton, for sharing those amazing insights, and also Tim and the Yango team. We appreciate the amazing work, and everyone for joining. We look forward to seeing your submissions, and good luck, everyone. Again, have fun and learn. It's going to be an amazing journey. Thank you so much and have a good evening.
Thank
Feel free,
you.
feel free to tell us bye on the chat as you drop off. And thank you so much once again.
Thank
Okay,
you,
bye
everyone.
everyone.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.